Pokemon Go is still all over the news, but no, we're not going to make another Pokemon Go video. For years, mobile games have been scoffed at for being cheap, hard to control, money-hungry time wasters. And yes, the mobile market is really, really saturated, but there are some great, unique, and quality games out there that shouldn't be dismissed just because they're mobile games. Many of the so-called elite or hardcore gamers feel that mobile games are impractical or can't possibly fill the void that console or handheld games do. After all, they're cheap, and because of this, they're low budget, and sometimes it shows. But sometimes that doesn't matter. There are plenty of passion projects made by people in their spare time that don't need flashy graphics. Take Super Hexagon, for example, a simple game made by just one guy whose name I am definitely not going to try to pronounce. Simple games like this shine on mobile. And I know what you're thinking. I'm not really into simple games. What, are you not into Arkanoid? That game's a goddamn classic. If you had a BlackBerry ever, that was your jam. What about Pac-Man? Another simple game. And there's a nice little update to that game called Pac-Man 256 that works great on a touchscreen. But there are also higher budget, more complex games. You got big publishers like Square Enix making games like Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go, which are garnering mostly favorable reviews. In fact, they were so popular that they influenced the development of similar games from other Square IPs. There's also games like Fallout Shelter, and you bet your ass that Bethesda dumped a ton of money into that one. But what about something even more complex? It's true that for mobile, the best games are simple. Mobile games assume that you don't have a lot of time to play them because you're either jumping in while you're waiting online at the movies or you're taking a There are full shooters like Shadowgun and Nova, and while the on-screen controls are actually really good, they don't compare at all to the console games that they rip off. On-screen controls are hard to do right, but these days, touch technology is so advanced that they work surprisingly well as controllers. I can get through a match in Shadowgun and not feel like I want to throw my phone through the wall. You don't want the screen to have too many controls, though. Sonic 4 controls really well because there's only 2 buttons on the screen. There's the joystick and a jump button. That's it. The best and simplest on-screen controls I've seen so far are in Downwell. This is a game that could only be on a smartphone, even though they just released it for PS4 and PlayStation Vita for some stupid reason. Its vertical orientation works really well because you're constantly traveling downward. There's only 3 buttons, left, right, and shoot, which is also the jump button because every time you shoot, your little gun boots propel you upwards. A really unique concept that could only have been conceived by the limitations of mobile. What about games where controls don't matter? Like puzzle games. Monument Valley is another one of my favorite mobile games. You just tap the screen and your character moves to that position, similar to an RTS. Sword and Sorcery EP controls the same way, but that's more of an RPG. These types of games don't require Twitch reactions, so there's room for input lag or human error. The same goes for turn-based games. And while there are some turn-based mobile games available, I haven't really seen the genre utilized as well as it could be here in the States. Unless you want to shell out $20 whole for Final Fantasy IX. But Nintendo did announce that they're releasing a Fire Emblem mobile game later this year. Here's hoping that that will be turn-based. I never thought I'd be hoping that a game comes out turn-based. What about the reputation mobile games have for being stingy? I think that this originated with the Candy Crush saga. Candy Crush had people addicted, but throws a timer on the game and essentially locks you out when you run out of lives. You either have to wait till the timer runs out, or you buy lives in the game with real money. These are called microtransactions, and they're a really sore subject with many gamers. I understand microtransactions. The game has to make money somehow, but in my opinion, the best games are free with ads, or $1 to $5 with no ads. The game would have to be pretty damn good to get me to pay more than $2 though. Trials Frontier is an example of an amazing game with awesome touch controls. Super simple and works really well. I love this game, but I stopped playing it because I ran out of the in-game currency and couldn't unlock new levels. I had the ability to get more money by cashing in some of the missions that I had done already, but I mostly play when I'm on the train, and the train starts off in a tunnel that has no data, and you need data in order to cash in these missions. And you bet your ass I wasn't paying real money for that in-game currency. So this great game turned me off completely because of its microtransaction structure. But before that, it was great, well worth the experience. But again, not all games are like that. Not all games have garbage microtransactions like that. It's games like that that give mobile games a bad reputation. And to the people who say that mobile games are just time wasters, aren't all games just time wasters? I've had some pretty unforgettable experiences on mobile, experiences that are comparable to some of the best experiences I've had on console. Smartphones are a viable gaming platform for bite-sized games. And the best part about mobile games is that they're accessible to almost anybody at almost any time. I might not always have my 3DS or my Vita with me, but I will always have my smartphone with me. That convenience is enough to get me to live without tactile buttons sometimes. I remember back in 2007 when they announced the first iPhone. I had a T-Mobile Dash, and I thought to myself, that's ridiculous. I need a keyboard to text. I need those tactile buttons. And look where we are now. Look at this. Look at this. It's more convenient to have a bigger screen and something you can slip right in your pocket, and we just got used to it. I'm not saying that consoles are going to get rid of all their buttons in favor of touchscreens. I'm just saying convenience trumps practicality sometimes. And the convenience of having this on me at all times, you bet your ass I'd rather have Downwell on here than on my Vita. And that's not true for all games. You gotta weigh your options here. What do you guys think about mobile games and the mobile market? Is it ridiculous that people aren't taking smartphone games seriously still? And after this insane popularity with Pokemon Go, you'd think people would start taking mobile games more seriously. So do you think mobile games are an insult to video gaming in general? Or do you think that there are some pretty practical gaming experiences that could only be had on mobile? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter. All this other social media garbage. That makes 3 mobile gaming videos in a row. I promise the next one will not be. Over on my Twitch channel, I've been making this painting. I finally finished it. Now it is available in all of these different forms on TeePublic. And it is on sale all this week. Can you even believe it? Along with the other stuff that's in our store. All of the links are in the description below. Anyway, new videos every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday nights is Wulff Den Live. Be a part of our live part. And of course, the most important things that you can do is subscribe and share this video with a friend that's a mobile gaming skeptic. Thank you guys very much. Have a good week. You don't play any game on your phone?
I do play mobile games on my phone. It's just, I play them so sporadically. Like, I don't play them as often as I would.
You don't count them.
It's not that I don't count them, because there are a lot of mobile games out there that are doing, like, really good stuff.
Right.
The thing is, like, every once in a while, I'll play one mobile game, and that's all I'll play.
If you're a fan of Pokemon Go, you'll see that a lot of its core mechanics come straight from Ingress. The map, the portals or gyms, the factions, these are all from Ingress, just reskinned to include a popular IP. Ingress was a fun game, but didn't have enough to hold my interest back then.